Good evening. For just a moment, I would like to talk with you about the role of self-esteem in the overall health and wellness of youth and young adults, particularly those ages 13 to 27. You probably wonder why I'm dressed this way, considering I am talking in the church that I pastor. But I'm dressed this way because though I am a pastor and a clergyman, I also fit within the contextual confines of this group. I am 26 years old, and my attire is sort of a statement that says that I am not boxed in by the stereotype or the typology that is given to a profession, that I can be who I am and not have to always look that way. And that is a bit of what I want to deal with today, is how our self-esteem as individuals really affects us on a psychological and emotional level. And I want to just look at a few things that I believe really play a role in our self-esteem and how it affects our lives. For the truth is, our image, our inspiration, and our individuality all play a major role in how we see ourselves. If I had time, I would scan the room and ask each of you how you see yourself. And I am sure that the answers would vary differently because we all see ourselves differently. And I want to look at what are some of the contributing factors that influence how we see ourselves. First of all, is image and how image shapes our self-esteem. Studies have shown that lowered numbers or decreasing numbers of self-esteem occurs both in obese and non-obese children, and that they are associated directly with the feelings of loneliness or nervousness or sadness. In other words, they have done studies on children or on young people who are both obese and children who are non-obese, and they have discovered that the habits that we take on mentally affect us in the physical realm. This is where we get emotional eating from, where there are people who, because they don't like themselves or don't feel well about themselves emotionally, they take it out on themselves in a physical way. Some eat a lot, others starve themselves, but the studies have shown that there is a connection in how we view ourselves mentally and how it affects us not only emotionally, but even in the physical realm. For media gives us, if you will, a culture gives us these images that tell us what good looks like, what beautiful looks like, and everybody's trying to ascribe to the images that they see because this is what we feel helps us to feel better about ourselves. So image does play a role in our self-esteem. The second thing is inspiration. And that is simply what or who inspires us, that we are inspired by other people. Studies have shown, and it has been said, that media presents an augmented view of sexuality. If you look on television right now, if you go to concerts, if you go to YouTube, or if you go on the internet, sex is everywhere. It has now become a norm of society through commercials and everything else to give sexual appeal to people. And so the question becomes, how does the media inspire us? Who do we look up to? And what images are they giving us? Who are the rappers that we want to be like? Who are the singers that we admire? Who are the models or the actors that we look at and build inspiration from them that helps form our self-esteem? We dress like them, we talk like them, we walk like them in hopes that we, in essence, may feel like them, not even knowing how they feel. And so we are inspired by the images that we see. And so the key becomes to look at what or who inspires you, to be able to attribute that inspiration to somebody positive, because the truth is, and it has been said in many places, that some of the people who we are inspired by do not intend to become role models. I have heard rappers give acceptance speeches or others and say outright that they never intended to be somebody's role model, and yet there are hundreds or thousands of young men who are trying to be like them. So the question is, what inspires us? Because inspiration does play a role in self-esteem. But finally, individuality plays what I believe is the strongest role in self-esteem. It has been said that boys and girls handle self-esteem differently that for a young woman, if she is struggling with low self-esteem, for example, she tends to act out that low self-esteem through how she treats herself. And she will treat herself down. She will think less of herself. She will hate herself. She will become isolated. She won't love other people because of how she feels. Whereas boys, when they have self-esteem issues, they never talk bad about themselves. What they do is become extra competitive to try to prove to everybody else that they are better than how they really feel they are. And so it really comes down to individuality. But my help, and I think our hope lies in this, that it has been said that teenagers may be influenced, but they are not helpless. Which means that regardless of the outside influences that affect us, we all have the individual power and the individual willpower to make choices for ourselves, to decide what is going to affect us and how we will allow the outside world to influence us internally. And so I close by restating that self-esteem is impacted by the images that we see, by the inspiration that we feel, and lastly, by our individuality. And I think that this gives a call to action for those of us who are adults here. It gives us a call to action to be able to speak into the lives of young people, to help them understand this, very simply, that we are made in the image of God. The Bible declares in Genesis 1:26 that God formed man in his image. And the Bible says in Psalms, we're fearfully and wonderfully made in him. If we understand that we are to reflect his image and that we are the image of Christ, then it ought to help influence us to think more of ourselves than we have. For the truth is, you don't have to fix what's not broken. But if you can truly identify that something is broken, it's worth being fixed. Thank you.